Bull market? Bear market? Capitulation? What the heck is really going on? What's up, gang? It is I, Carlton Flowers, your crypto pro.
Yay!
And it is time to talk about all the craziness that is going on with Bitcoin. So, as I said in the intro, what are we dealing with? Are we dealing with a bull market or a bear market? And are we on the cusp of a major, massive recovery or capitulation down to 20,000 or less? One thing I have noticed here lately in the last 24 hours is a lot of the big mouths on YouTube who call the exact month of the peak of the bull market, who know everything, they've been quiet. There's been nothing but crickets as we sit here in limbo land, being manipulated, listening to all these stories from one extreme to the next. Now, one thing that I also notice is that we have just gone from absolute fever pitch bullish confidence to everyone thinking that this is the end. And I find it very interesting that some of the same people who were saying that we would absolutely peak in the bull market in October or September of 2021, there's just no way, because the cycle has not changed. It gets longer by the same amount each full cycle, and this is the exact time that the bull market has to peak. Now, those same folks are sitting around talking about this cycle has ended early. So let's cut to the chase and just look at the chart and try to see if we can make sense out of this, because you cannot listen to people when they claim to know everything. You cannot listen to me if I were to be dumb enough to say, oh, we are absolutely not in a bull market anymore. This is it. This is the end. Or if I were to tell you that we are absolutely continuing on with the bearish trend. We're going to capitulate. We're going to hit 20,000 or less. If I was 100% sure of that and I told you, I'm going to give you some advice. Watch a different channel. People think they know so much. And when it comes down to it, the one thing that we can say with complete confidence is they're playing us all for stupid. What is the evidence of that? Number one, this Elon Musk garbage, okay? To have someone say that Bitcoin is the future of the world. And then remember when he was teasing on Twitter, who was he talking to? Michael Saylor, saying, would someone be able to put such a large order as this into Bitcoin? Would it actually work? You remember that conversation when they were teasing back and forth where he was playing dumb, like he didn't know anything, and he was asking another Bitcoin whale for advice on buying. Of course, he knew good and well that he was about to make a massive purchase. So he goes from sinking a few billion into Bitcoin to coming out with the nonsense story about Bitcoin's bad for the environment, which again is the second most stupid thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. And I also cannot believe that people took that seriously, or even to think that he might have been serious, when the plain and obvious truth is whatever power consumption that feeds Bitcoin mining rigs feeds those little Tesla cars, beyond the fact that there's probably a list a mile long of things that eat up more electricity than the blockchain. So it's just stupidity on our part for even watching the news, wasting the time, listening to it, and trying to figure out what Elon's really doing. I could care less what he does. I'm not in that, because all it is manipulation. Now, the other consideration is the market makers and the institutional buyers. They're manipulating us. They play us for stupid. Anybody who is not a market manipulator or an institutional buyer or like a whale like Elon Musk, we are the retail buyers. We are governed by emotion, every move. And the market makers and institutional buyers know exactly how we think, because they sit up all day long, every day, staring at the screen, knowing what's going on, and have the power and ability to move the markets. in the opposite direction that we think it's going to go. So they lead us down a path, swat us, spank us, lead us back down this way, swat us, spank us, rinse, wash, and repeat. So I had said on the board a few days ago that I was thinking back to 2017 when I was just first getting ramped up into crypto and people were going around saying that this is going to be the greatest wealth transfer in the history of the world. I call BS. That's nonsense. Cryptocurrency will not be the greatest transfer in the history of the world. Why? Now, it could potentially, but the reason why it won't is because we fall for the manipulative tactics of the institutional investors and the market makers. They're not going to give up their control. They're not going to do it. They won't sit back and allow the greatest wealth in the world to move out of their hands and into the hands of the plebes. It ain't happening. So while it might be the greatest wealth transfer from fiat to a different format, it ain't going to be a wealth transfer from the rich people down to us hardworking poor people. Well, at least it won't be if we continue to get played like we are right now. Set everybody up to believe one thing, snatch the legs from out from underneath, watch it fall, repeat the process, whip them into a frenzy, get them to invest, snatch the legs out, watch it fall. That will carry on for perpetuity until we get smart. All right, so enough about that. Let's just jump into the chart so we can see what's going on. And I can tell you right off the bat, I do not yet have a firm opinion of whether or not we're in a bull or a bear market. Let's get rid of my handsome face. And this is on the Bitcoin chart. We're going to start with the 4 hour just so I can show you what's going on right now. And then I'm going to jump around and make a few points and then we'll be done. All right. Right off the bat, we're looking at the price rebounding a little bit as it's clinging to the 4.216 magical fib ring boundary line, 4.236. I set this fib ring set, which I'll show you when we zoom out, months ago. And it's funny how sometimes we will get a clinging action or a pivot point on these fib rings. Sometimes we go straight through like we went straight through on the 3.618. It was kind of roughly a swing channel change in direction from here to here. So actually the 3.618 had a little action because you do see there is a red doji candle right there. Do you see that little red doji? Boom. And oops, I want an arrow. Doggone it. Let's put the arrow here. There's our doji. Notice how that doji is right exactly on the 3.618 fib ring right there. So these things are significant. And now we have this little clinging here. Look at these candles clinging to the 4.236. What's going to happen after this is it's either going to bail out and go this way or it's going to capitulate. It looks like it to me. So the current evidence that we have is bullish. We have a stochastic that looks like it has flipped. We got to change in direction. And I talked about this on the board too. I said the only way that we can save the ugliness of the MACD oscillator, which lags behind the stochastic oscillator, is a flip in midstream. Last night, we were right here. If you cut this off right there, that's where we were. And I said we have downward momentum, bearish momentum. We have a divergence of the %K and the %D line. And I said it. You can go in the Telegram group. I drew a picture. It's right there. And I drew a line. I said what will save the day is this stochastic snatching back up for a reversal. And the same thing happened down here on the MACD. There it is. You see we had a double reversal, okay? Looking inside of this circle, here was the bearish cross. And it snatched back up and we got a bullish cross. And now we're printing green bars on the histogram here. So that doesn't mean that the market is saved. It only means that we have some upward momentum and we have to look at the VPVR to know where we could end up getting at least a check in. Here is a node right at 40,000. There's one below it, which the price line is above. So I'm going to say this one has the highest probability. And then with enough momentum, we could possibly make it to this next node, which just so magically happens to be right around where the 200 EMA is. Isn't that amazing how this works? The next node, which is a target, is here. And just look at how it is magically going to end up crossing or hitting right where this is the 200. I'm sorry. This is the 50. The orange is the 50. The blue is the 200. So amazing how this node would cross. If the price makes it up, it would be right at the 200. And then, of course, the highest target with the least probability would be back to the point of control price of 57. But it can happen, which would keep us below this high point. We would still be below, creating a lower high. But that looks good. That's positive for now. So let's clear this out and let's jump to the one-day chart. Okay, drawing mode goes off. I'm a little hoarse, so I'm going to have to sip some coffee here. That was hot. I think I just gave myself the fuzzy tongue. Okay, now we are going to flip to the one-day chart. Here it is. This one looks a little bit different. It's not as pretty. What we're looking at now in the current moment is a stochastic coming out of the oversold zone and poking its head out. Like a baby poking out his head, as Fat Bastard would have said. I love that movie. Now, the stochastic, notice at the %K, the blue line, it's starting to curl over. Look at that little curl there. It's acting like it's wanting to cross over the slow line. That's not good. Now, the only good indication we have is we just printed a light red histogram bar right here. After we went light, then dark again. Now we're back to light. With the divergence that we had here, this distance right here was getting bigger, right? And now we have a slight, you can barely even see it on this chart, it's slightly closer now, right there. And that's where we have this lighter red histogram bar. So this means that there could be, and this is too weak to tell yet, these could be coming in for a divergence. We also notice that it looks like the histogram is doing one of these numbers, like a nice smooth cycle up. In a perfect world, it'll do this. And then after that, it does something like, this. Oops, I wanted a green there. Let's make a green. It'll do that, and so on and so forth. That's a perfect sine wave cycle for you mathematicians who are listening, okay? But sometimes we get erratic movements where instead of going back negative again, sometimes it could hump up and do this and repeat itself. But in a perfect cycle, this is what the oscillators would do. So if this is going to come up, there is a chance that the stochastic here could continue up and not curl around and continue down. There is less volume on this green candle, though. That's concerning, but at least it's not as big and fat as these candles in this cluster right here. What about the VPVR? We have a node that we are above that is a big node, and we're climbing above it. We'll either get snatched down to it and come down to here, or we'll head all the way up here to the next big volume node at 48,000. And then we have the big one at 56. Those are the things that you have to go by. And notice that right here we are right at the 4.236. It's a decision point. So again, I think we'll get a pivot. We're going to see a bounce like that. If we don't get a bounce like that, we're going to get a capitulation move. All right. And then there's one ring left on this set. The 4.618, I believe, is the last one right there. So that's how we look on the 1 day. And now you can see why I'm indeterminate. Right now, I'm 51% for a recovery within the bearish trading channel and 49% capitulation. What do I mean by that? Here is the bearish trading channel. This is what we have established now, and we have to go by this until we break it. So we just make some parallel lines. Let me fix that one. That was terrible. What am I thinking there? Okay, let's pull this one here, pull this one at this low point like that. It's not perfect, but it's something like that. Whatever the case, the movement, in order to define recovery, is going to have to break out of this. That will define a recovery and a continuation of the bull market. It's probably not going to happen that fast, though. Okay, what could happen is we have this move here, and then we could have one more move down, because we have a Let's see. A, B, C, D, E. If this is a 5-step wave, this would be the last one. And if it bounces here at the bottom at 31, then we could possibly move up for a recovery. So don't get too excited if it bounces up here, because we still could possibly test the bottom of this channel, which magically also happens. Let me show you something here. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let's turn drawing mode off. And I'm on a regular scale. This is not a logarithmic, but this is something I was playing with yesterday. And there is a strange coinky-dink that we find when we do the Fib analysis of the retracement. So I'm going to pull off a retracement, see if I can reproduce what I did last night. And I'm going to start here. I'm going to pull it up to the high point. I'm going to have to fix this. Hang on. Let me scrunch this down and pull this up. So there we have it. Notice, and this repeated from the 2017 run. It looks just the same. So we came and launched off of this 0.382 line, and it was support, and then we failed it, and it became it could become resistance. We settled here to the 0.5 line, and it looks like we're going to fail it. If we fail that 0.5 line, then we're going to be looking at the 0.618 as support. We're going to want to bounce off of that. If we bounce off the 0.618, that's where I was just drawing that recovery. And then we might hit the 0.5 as a resistance one more time. Or actually, I'm sorry, if we move up from there, this is where we would possibly hit resistance. And then we would look for support at the 0.5. Look at the price at 0.5. How is that right at like 31K? What did I just show you before on that last screen? It was right there at 31K. So to me, that's an important number. You know, there's people talking about 20,000, and that's in play. Okay, there is a volume node right there at 20,000. And we don't see anything happening with the retracement, but that doesn't mean that it can't bounce off of this level, because we do know that since the 2017 bull run, the level of 20,000 will probably be somewhat of a very hard floor. I do believe that. I would say I'm 90% sure that we don't go below that, even though it is possible that it could happen. I'm not going to be shocked if it does. I'll be sad. But I don't see us failing the 20,000 base level, because that previous resistance more than likely becomes the base for what happens here. Now, I don't know after that point if we hit it, if we're in the bear market, and then the possibility is where we could see, say, action like this for a long time, you know, a consolidation, accumulation consolidation, and then start a new cycle. But that's besides the point. At least we know that 20,000 is the bottom. All right, so let's get rid of this. Last thing I want to do is walk you through some history here. If I can turn drawing mode off and delete this, and then I'll wrap it up. I don't want to go on and on too long here. It's already been 17 minutes, but you have to see this. We're going to go to the 1 week chart. As a matter of fact, yeah, all right, we're at the 1 week chart. I'm going to walk you through and show you guys what happened in 2017. I lived through this, all right? The serious people are still watching. The people with ADD, HD, actually I have that, have already tuned me out. But watch this. If you're here and you see this demonstration, good for you, because this is going to be very important. So I started paying attention to the market in 2017, around June. I was like, look at Bitcoin. Oh, it's rising up. Maybe I should be interested in crypto, because the penny stock market wasn't doing much. And then right about here, I think it was October, I'm in. I started buying my first positions, XRP and some of the altcoins. Market starts to go up, and then, oh no, it's going down, darn it. And so after we had that red candle right there, it was, woohoo, oh my gosh, vertical movement, look at this. And I was talking about swing trading, and I had a friend who said, you shouldn't swing trade now. It's like trying to step off of a bullet train that's going 200 miles an hour. The market's just going to go up and up and up. 15,000. Oh my gosh, it's going vertical. And then there it is at the peak. Whoa, 19,000. It's going to go above 20,000. It's all over the news. And whoops, 14,000. But it's coming back. Okay, we're still moving up. Uh-oh, 13,000. Okay, it's okay. No, it's not. Oh, darn. Now it's starting to hurt. Now, this is where I had cashed out a Litecoin and lost $1,500 because I was aping in after the peak in December of 2017, listening to the wrong people. And so then here we go into the bear market. The slide goes on and on and on, and I'm still watching crypto every day. I'm still eating up videos every day. I'm still researching, and then all of a sudden we get this long consolidation move. I said, this is it. We're about to go back up because the price has finally settled down. And what happened? We had the big drop down to 4,000, down to 3,195. That sucked. And that was hard to sit through. Okay. That was in November 2019. So here it comes back. We got a recovery. We're back, folks. We're back. Everything's going to be all right. We're doing good. Oh, man, we're really doing good. It's starting to consolidate. I don't believe it, but the market is back. I think this is it. This could be it. Oh, yes, we're moving up. We were making such great progress. We had a dip there. Oh, it's coming back. So what are we in now? A bull market or a bear market? And the point that was being made back then was we were still trading within the envelope of the previous high. So we couldn't call this anything monumental. We knew something big had to happen or this is just a continuation. Well, as time would go on, boom. What happened in March? COVID. World shuts down. It's the end of the world. And we dropped down to 5,000. Do y'all remember that? Most of us have forgotten it already, when Ethereum was at $130. And I thought back then I should get 10 Ethereum. And then I said, nah, I better wait till the price settles down to maybe 90. It never went lower. So I was kicking myself because then from this point, we did nothing but move up. Now here comes the market. Now let's watch what happened since then. Here's June. There's July. Here we go. What does this look like? What does this look like? Does this look like a parabolic run? Look at this thing. And this is not the bull market or the bull run. This is not it. This is not the blow off top like here. But doesn't it look like it? Look at this. It's going straight up in the air compared to the side. Do you see this? Are you watching? Straight up in the air. I'm still scrolling up. And what went on? Still going straight up in the air. This is a vertical rise. Ridiculousness. Still going straight up in the air. Wow. I got to scroll down some more. And then what happened? Boom. There's the drop. And here we are. Now let's just scroll down to show you the size of what we just did. And this is why there is a case for those of you who say that the bull market is over. Because if this ain't a parabolic run and a blow off top, I don't know what is. But before you get sad and say that it's all over, Carlton convinced me. Now I'm going to show you where it doesn't look like it's over yet. Looking at it from this standpoint, when you compare one bull market to the other, this should be a blip on the radar compared to the real one. When we hit the next real bull run of the bull market, it's going to do something like this. Now, I'm not convinced that it will, but it's possible. If right now, if we dip down, and I think we hold this 31K, we might get some action like this. All right. What will actually happen is we dip down for a while in the summer and then consolidate. And then here goes vertical time. And it's going to make this look like nothing. Okay. I'm almost leaning towards this scenario. Now, looking at the 1 week stochastic is ugly. Do you see that? We're at the 50% point. Now there is room for this to turn around. It can wheel around and save itself and move back up here. Look at this move. It did it here. We didn't go to oversold there. Okay. Look at the stochastic or the MACD. We have a major sell signal crossover right there, but it doesn't mean it's the end. Why? Because this histogram can recover within a short time period of a few weeks, and this can reverse itself and change direction. It is possible. So that's the way I see it. That is the 1 week. Let's clear this stuff out, turn drawing mode off, and go back to the 4 hour, to the moment, and scroll it on up. And we see we are right at the critical point right now at the end of the video. Here it is. We have 2 red candles. Is it going to go up or is it going to go down? What do you think? I tell you, whatever the case, be careful. And let me give you some advice, even though this isn't financial advice. Don't spend money on anything because you're going to lose your butt because you're being manipulated. Don't be dumb and not realize that the market makers and the institutions can do whatever they want right now. They can run this thing up or they can take it to the toilet. There ain't nothing natural about this. Be careful. And don't be the next one whining and crying because you threw in your rent money and you lost it if this sucker goes down. You better be playing with money that you don't mind losing. Be careful, especially if this is your first cycle. Watch yourself. Now, I'm praying it goes up because if this is a continuation of the bull market, I'm going to be partying hardy this fall, guys. Why? Because I've been buying for the last 3 years. I didn't start buying when the run-up happened like a lot of you have. And as we start to go down, if I start feeling comfortable, I'm going to be buying when nobody else is because I do it backwards. And then I'll be ready to cash out long before everyone even starts to get into that frenzy mode and call for an all-time peak in the bull market. I'm coming out before that. I got to take some money home. I got bills to pay and the kids need shoes. Post your comments, your thoughts. I want to know what you think. Is it going up? Is it going down? Are we being manipulated or is this natural? And do you also think that all of the FUD we have heard in the news is nothing but a portion of the manipulation? Post your thoughts. This is Carlton. I'm out. Oh, crap. Let me try that again. I got to hit it harder.